Hey, what's up? It's Skottie Young. Thanks for checking out my channel. Today I'm going to do a comic book commentary on issue number 6 of I Hate Fairyland, my first creator-owned series at Image Comics. Let's go take a listen. Later. Welcome to the director's commentary for I Hate Fairyland number 6. Now, this is a spoiler warning. I'm going to give it to you right up front. I have to talk about what happened in the first volume, 1 through 5. So if you have not read I Hate Fairyland yet, I suggest you stop here and you go grab it, you read it, then grab the next volume, which starts with number 6, come back after you've read that, and listen to this, okay? So I'm going to do a little countdown, and after that, we're going to have spoilers all over the place. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're in spoiler territory now. I started off with number 6 because I thought it was really interesting that I ended volume 1 with her as queen. She defeated the queen of Fairyland. She hates the place. She figured if she defeats the Queen of Fairyland that she'll get to go home, but there was a clause in the contracts of all this that not only does she not get to go home, but she has to now take over being queen. The first volume of Fairyland was always going to kind of be its own story, so that her sitting on the throne was always going to be the end of my story. And just because it's going to be a little graphic novel of a real fun romp and crazy, hyper-violent fun, Alice in Wonderland meets Tank Girl type feel. But I was having such a good time, and you guys all showed up to the shops and bought the series. So we decided to just keep on going with it. And, so that's why I thought it was fun to jump in with number 6, because I had to figure out what to do with this character that was on the move all the time. And I ended a story where she was going to be pretty stationary. She's a queen. She resides in a castle, and she now has to do a lot of paperwork and bureaucracy and things like that. So I thought it'd be fun to start, with that. Before we get into the book, let's give a shout out to Ryan Hughes, who did this fantastic logo. It's just, every time I look at it, I feel like it's just candy that I want to eat. He's an awesome designer. Go check him out, Ryan Hughes. Then we're going to give the biggest of shout outs to my colorist and friend and collaborator for 15, 16 years or something like that, Jean-Francois Bilot. Still don't know if I'm saying his name right. We've worked on thousands of pieces together, and we've actually never met in real life. I think we've emailed each other 400 million times over those years. I love his colors so much. He knows that anything I ever do, he is the first person that I am on. He's not even the first person. He just knows by default he's getting asked to do it. It's really just up to him to turn it down or accept it. So love Jean. He's on this cover, crushing it as always. So we're going to dive in. Now, next up, we've got where are we going? Let me, boom. Okay. Next up, we've got the variant cover, Fuck Fairyland. Now, little story about this. This was always what I called the series while I was developing it a million years ago. The folder on my computer said Fuck Fairyland. I wasn't sure what to call it when I published it. I Hate Fairyland was the other option, and, just having it be straight up. But I had always called it Fuck Fairyland. Talked to Eric Stevenson and Robert Kirkman a lot about it. They thought that there were good and bad aspects to calling to both. And so we talked about this at the Image Expo once when we first announced it. And I gave this little anecdote where it's just like, I tried to call it this, and I didn't know, but then I was afraid it wouldn't sell if I had a curse word on the cover, and a lot of places wouldn't shelve it. So ultimately, I landed on I Hate Fairyland. At the end of that Image Expo, after we told that story, there was a lot of retailers that were coming up to Eric and I and asking if they could get some variant covers for their store with the explicit title. And Eric and I reconvened later that night, and we both had the same story. Like, hey, a lot of people want the Fuck Fairyland cover. He's like, yeah, a lot of people said that to me too. So we just decided, why were we so worried about which one to call it when we could just call it both? And so we decided to do 2 covers for every issue, and one with the explicit and one with not, which is really cool because I got a chance to do 2 covers for my own book every month, which I loved. So that's the story behind that. Let's jump in. We got some Ryan Hughes design on the credits page, which I love. And we're going to jump right in. So we have, kicking off this issue, a Gladiator style event. Gert's the queen now, so of course she'd reopen the games. You know, that old classic Roman Gladiator. Email's dinging. Sorry, mute that. So I'm going to do that version of mine. And I've got some like Sesame Street-esque Gladiator talking to a throwback flavored Wuzzle type fuzzy critter. If you guys remember the Wuzzles, the 80s cartoon, where it's just a bunch of mashed up animals. Thought I'd play around with those concepts a little bit. And I love the idea of playing on this like big cutesy thing that looks like it's scared of the big gladiator. And by the last panel, you realize it's not scared at all. It is absolutely terrifying with claws and teeth. And it really was, for me, the main goal of this was to play with your expectations on size and scope, where I'm flipping back and forth the camera to these two characters and you're not quite sure what the size difference is. But then when you turn the page, you get that reveal that this is just a very little critter going against a big old gladiator. But it doesn't matter because it's going to murder that fool. Obviously, I Hate Fairyland was a crazy over-the-top catch-up bloody type violent book that I always thought of in my head as something like Looney Tunes turned up to 11, right? Or Mad Magazine, where they'd get a little over the top, but just shy of being too much, you know? And you'll see that some more here, where we get the cute little bear situation, reaching in, grabbing the heart, presenting it to the ruler, who is Gertrude. This is really fun. I love the idea of taking Gert from the little girl and turning her into the adult queen. Very Maleficent kind of style, Disney evil queen design. Loved playing against expectations of going from the cute little girl that was turned crazy looking to the older, grown-up evil queen. Game of Thrones was at the top of its game at this point. We're all in love with that show and the books and whatnot. So I did a little play on the Gert of Thrones as far as the issue's title. We get to walk through and start seeing her blasting away and having fun, and her fans are excited that she's killing. And oh, look, he killed my husband. And they're excited. They want her autograph. She thinks she's walking through the crowd signing autographs. Before I move on to the next page and get to the gag here, I want to point out and give a big shout out to another one of my constant collaborators or who I hope to be a constant collaborator with me for the rest of my career, is Nate Picos at Blambot. He is such a great letterer. To me, the best in the biz. And we really kind of talked a lot at the beginning of this and he came up with some really fun stuff and fun approaches to the lettering on this book. And you can see when we have our fake, nice curse words in here, and he stacks up some of the lettering. I thought that was such a cool addition and unique way to approach this that felt very unique to our book. As far as the fake cursing, I don't think I ever said this in the book anywhere, but in my mind, there's a witch or a wizard somewhere locked in a room, or a rotating shift of witches and wizards that have to basically sit there all day scanning for curse words and enchant them. So it's a really, really crappy job, especially when your world has Gert in it, which she curses a lot. So we've got, let's go there. And so, yeah, we got all of her fans. Gert's walking through. Queen Gert, they all love her. Sign my acts, do the thing. And she's signing it. But as she's signing it, the people are starting to say other things. And she's kind of like, what's happening here? Like, I'm signing contracts? I thought I was signing autographs. And you get there and realize that she was dreaming. She is still the little crazy girl. She's not having fun as queen. She is doing paperwork. She's signing decrees. She's dealing with taxes and all the stuff that goes along with being a politician. It's a bummer. It's not fun. She gets woken up, stabs this devil dude in the eye, and then we get to also your Larry showing up for the first time here too. Her guide, familiar, whatever you'd like to say or call that. As you know, this is very much a nod to the Jiminy Crickets of the world. You know, the conscious character that's always with your main character, kind of trying to, he tried to guide her, but obviously he's failed as well. So they're kind of stuck together until she finds a way home. Some more great lettering here, some great colors by Jean. And you can see here, this is where I'm starting to just have a lot of fun adding random characters. The cool thing is I'm not going to have to draw these characters ever again. So I really can just make up whatever I want on the spot for this one panel and not really have to worry about how it works if I turn it around or if it's, you know, like the character there with the big eyes and the orange and the puffs on her head in the top panel. Like, I didn't figure that much out, but I just needed a cool character in there. And then Jean goes in and makes it look even better with his beautiful colors. So I love filling the world with a lot of cool characters. We got some more of her having to deal with being a queen and all that goes along with that. I think this is another, this is one of those panels that I feel like are one of those pages where, you know, it looks like you're doing some work here, but I want to point out some heavy lifting on Jean-Francois's part. Like panel 4, I just left that floor blank. I think I put lines for the carpet maybe, but that's it. Like the checkerboard is all him. The lighting from the windows, all him. If you jump down to panel 6, I just drew Larry, the smoke, and the book. Jean goes in, reads the cues from the other panels that he's already done, and adds the folds of the drapery behind. So all of a sudden, it went from a little drawing in the corner to a fully realized space. It's a setting. And this is what I think happens when you find a collaborator that you like working with and you start to get each other and you start to read each other's cues. I know what I can leave, and because I know that he's going to pick it up. Like, he's going to see it and be like, oh yeah. And it gives him a chance to flex. Like, it's not just me covering every inch of these pages with my lines. It's me saying, I'm going to do this because this is what I'm strong at, but I'm also going to give you a lot of spaces to do what you're strong at. And I love that kind of collaboration. Some more great Nate Picos lettering. Here we got a page. I love these kind of pages. You know, this is like, okay, let's get some exposition out, but I don't want to have to break it down into like a normal comic book panel page. So this is just a fun montage where I've got all these gags in my head, you know, like a lot of plays on Lord of the Rings, little plays on the evil queen, plays on the evil dead kind of hordes. These are all gags that I've written down and I have in lists, but it's not like I can necessarily figure out full story places to make them fit to be a 6-page sequence. So whenever I have those, I'll find ways to expand time and do montages where you're seeing time that she's got her evil schemes and she's plotting and, you know, and then again, Game of Thrones was going on around this time. So they always had that huge table and they had like the pieces around. And so I thought, oh, that's fun to do my riff on that. I mean, this is clearly me doing Mad Magazine, you know, Mad Magazine is parody and satire. And I grew up reading Mad Magazine. I'm sure you guys have seen in some of my videos, I've got my Alfred E. Newman tattoo on my left hand, or my left arm. And this is really about kind of just nodding to the fantasy stories and everything that inspired I Hate Fairyland. So I love this kind of, again, Jean. I mean, come on, look at these colors. It's probably going to be less director's commentary and me just going like, look at Jean, look at Jean. Now she's still getting grilled by her people. We've got some gross dude. He's wet himself. I love this little cloud dude. I didn't get to draw him as much, but I love this little cloud dude. But I do like that now she's got to start going out and doing some of her queenly duties, and that means she has to go visit schools. She's getting ready to go visit kind of, you know, Harbinger School of Witches and Warlocks, which is obviously a nod to Hogwarts and Harry Potter. We got to have some Harry Potter nods. I love Harry Potter. We had to do some nods to that. So she is going to give a speech for their graduation. You know, they're all sending these witches and wizards out into the world, or witches and warlocks out into the world. And she's there giving the speech. And as she does, she says the she says the spell wrong and blasts the crowd, explodes the school. She's like, oh, let's get out of here, Larry. Go get the car. And then she's off to the next place, which this is Imster. This is the mayor of the Imsters of Orpland, which is obviously hipsters and Portland, right? So Portland's fun. Everybody in Portland has a crazy beard. All the ice cream is like, I feel like it's like tofu, basil, and, you know, sticks. Like, I feel like every time I go to a place, it's the weirdest combo of things. So I wanted to just kind of play around with that. Much love to all my Portland people. Obviously, Image Comics is out in Portland. Tons of my friends are out in Portland. So I want to have a little nod to all my fun hipsters out in Portland. With this, she clearly accidentally chops that dude up. Does not go well for him. Again, boom, we're getting out of here. She's basically going everywhere, killing people, exploding things. And I love a page like this. Nothing more I like to do than, again, I have a bunch of gags on my head. They're not dense enough for me to be able to expand into stories of their own, but they're fun to throw in a one panel. So she blows up the magic school. I'm showing time too. I want to show time passing. So she's going and doing all these things. She's at eating competitions. She's actually eating the people that live in that town. The boats are exploding. I love panel 4. I was very proud of that panel. It felt like such an old school Looney Tunes panel. It's like a text. I don't know. I love all these nods to the old cartoons that I grew up with. She's riding in the back of her cool limousine. I think this is another panel where Jean's mastery over lighting is just unmatched. He really makes you feel like there are things beyond the borders that you don't see drawn, but his light is playing with things off panel, and it's just fantastic. Another one of my montage pages where I want more time to pass. It's showing how much trouble she's caused the entire world of Fairyland during her reign as queen. You've got an angry warlock who was orphaned by the explosion that Gert caused, and you could see his little holding his parents up there in the pools of blood. I know it's kind of morbid, right? As I'm looking at this years later, I'm like, what's wrong with me? What was I going through while I was making this? Again, Jean crushing it. Then we get here, and this is after a year or two. I think it's a year. And one of my favorite things I thought of was like, well, how would the castle have changed? And you could see in that panel 1, like off in the distance, the castle's sad. So it's like a wilted plant. It's like if my wife Casey goes out of town, I forget to water the plants, and then when she comes back, they're all droopy like that. So I thought that's a funny gag for the castle. It's like hasn't been taken care of. So it's actually sad. The building itself is sad. You've got this big dude carrying this turtle shell barrel of bottles to the castle, and they're kind of talking about it like, why are we going to the castle? Like, this is weird. And this is again a nod to the Disney movies where you have Mrs. Potsworth and Chip, the dishes that talk. And in my head, everything's alive. Everything's a character in Fairyland. There's nothing off. There's nothing taken off the table that can't be a character. If you see here too, this is a little behind the scenes. In panel 2, you see the bottle say, "I heard that the maker got it executed because he left a lint in that fly's bowler." So Larry is the fly, and he wears a bowler cap. And this is a little because I knew I was going to get to a story later where Gert. I can't. Wait, am I missing the time? You know what? I'm going to scroll over to my bookshelf over here because I actually can't remember if it was. It's in this volume. So I'll give a director commentary, but I'm starting to not remember which issues came before or after. So he left a lint in that fly's bowler. I knew in a couple issues I was getting to a story where I wanted to go inside of Larry's hat. And, you know, in fantasy stories, there's always like a bag of holding, which is always like some sort of little container or bag or pouch that contains tons of stuff. It's, you know, impossibly big inside, but on the outside looks very small. So I always intended Larry's hat to be that. If you notice, like in the first volume, she's always pulling out axes and stuff and all types of stuff. And there was a dragon he pulled out once from his hat. So in my mind, everything that they ever needed was in the hat, because I did not want to have to draw her constantly walking around holding stuff. And that was a very convenient thing. So executed because they left a lint in that fly's bowler. In that future issue, the inside of his hat looks like an Amazon warehouse of all the stuff that they've gathered over the 30 years that she's lived there. And it's become infested with like basically these furry alien creatures called lints. So I'm doing a little foreshadowing there for what's to come. Anytime I think of something but don't have it figured out, I'll just kind of maybe drop those. Sometimes I get back to them and sometimes I don't. But what we realize here is these bottles are getting delivered to the castle, Gert's castle. And she's inside, straight up Howard Hughesing it. She's losing her mind. She's got bottles of pee everywhere. Very Howard Hughesy, right? She's boarded up all the doors. She's like losing it. She doesn't want to see another person. She's tired of battling everybody. She's tired of the wars. And they are delivering. Now you know why she needed the bottles. Then, of course, again, I'm doing a little, Larry's there. He has to warn her that winter is coming. This is another kind of nod to Game of Thrones being so popular at the time. And I wanted to do a gag with the whole winter is coming because I felt like that's all you heard around that time. And she keeps asking him why he's saying that. And then he just keeps repeating it. And this is one of my favorites when she's like, what does that even mean, man? Is it a metaphor to describe the stark coldness that accompanies the impending doom that I've brought to these lands? And he's like, whoa. I mean, that's kind of extra, but no, it's like the head of HR. His name's Harriet Winter, right? So winter is coming. He truly meant Winter. Harriet Winter, head of HR of the Castle Fairyland, is coming to see you. And we get Harriet Winter basically saying that she has done a terrible, terrible job as queen. This was one of my favorite things when she was like, hey, do you want some pee? Or whatever she said. She's got barricaded myself in a room surrounded with bottles filled with what looks and smells like my own pee, because it is, in fact, my own pee. And then the bottle's like, help me, please. I just thought it was funny to have a bottle full of pee talking. Anyway, we have Harriet Winter there to basically tell her she's been so bad at it that they are firing her. And she gets to run away from the castle with the castle exploding. Because she's exploded every castle that she's seen throughout this issue since she's been in Fairyland. And she's so excited that she does not have to be queen again or anymore. And she's running off into the sunset. Now, two things. I love that we decided to loop back to the beginning of the first story, which is when she is sent out on her adventure from Fairyland. It's pretty much this shot. The castle's back there, and the queen is sending her off on her first adventure to find the key. And so I mimicked that. And the panel where you obviously get to see the crowns, the bent up crown sitting like she's out of here, right? And I really liked the idea that I played around a little bit with like the nod to the Spider-Man cover. Spider-Man No More, where he's walking away in the Spider-Man costumes in the trash can. So this is like a little bit of Fairyland version of that. Let's see. All right, that's the end of the issue, but this is also, so I'll end that with saying this entire first issue of the second arc was spent by me getting her out of the castle. That was my goal, because I realized I ended the first arc with her being stuck inside a building, and I at first I thought, man, it's going to be fun. She's going to be Queen of Fairyland. But then I was like, that's not a lot of stories that I want to do where I'm keeping this really, really fun character in an endless world of wackiness inside of a building. So I was like, all right, first up, how do I get her out of here? And that was basically just by firing her. No big crazy story reasons, just like, just being absolute real. Like, hey, you're super bad at this and you're totally fired. There's some stuff you can read if you go check out the book or the single issues. And then, oh my gosh, look at this. I always had my friends and people doing pinups for me. Umberto Ramos, are you kidding me? One of my best buds, my collaborator on Strange Academy. He agreed to do a pinup for me. It's just my favorite thing. Look at it. It's my favorite thing. I love it so much. Who else we got? Oh, yes, Cena Grace. Cena Grace is a great writer, great guy, and a great artist. He sent me this. I got the original to this. He was so kind to give me this. We traded. He did this for me, and I gave him an Iceman cover. But I love this. His play, his interpretation of Gert's teeth, my absolute favorite. Oh my gosh, this is John Lord. I love this one. His colors also amazing. Such a good painter. Loved the play on Hansel and Gretel. Really, I love when people get the character, when they get Gert as the character. It makes me feel good, like I've done something right, and everybody really understands her as a character. And then we've got some cosplay. The coolest thing that started happening as soon as we started getting published was all these amazing people started cosplaying as Gert, and I could not believe it. It was so cool to see come to life. So these are some various people cosplaying over the years, over the first year. This was just over the first year of the book. There's been so many more since, and it's been so cool to see. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot this was in this issue. So my friend Ian, Aesop Rock, one of my favorite rappers, been one of my favorite rappers for 20 years. We've become buddies over the years. Beautiful artwork for this album by Alex Pardee, another buddy of mine. And we became friends, and his album Impossible Kid was coming out, and I said, hey, I got a new book out. Let's so we hooked up with Rhyme Sayers and got some Impossible Kid ads to throw in the back of the issue so we could help promote his amazing album, which I really truly think Impossible Kid is his best album, and I adore every single album he's ever done. So you guys know Aesop Rock. He's the guy. He's my friend. He's he produced the intro beat and some of the outro beats, and I think a video or two ago did the beat that laced the whole thing. So there you go. Then we always did a preview what's coming up next on Fairyland, and again we would always do some funny writing there. So you can search that out or pause here and read that if you want. And back cover, we always did a different color back cover with the Gert skull. That is it. I did it. That's my first audio commentary of a comic book. I think it's fun. I didn't have any plan. I have no notes in front of me. I literally just found this file, opened it up, and started talking about it. So I'm sure I'll get better at this as we go along. I'm sure I'll start taking notes and being a little bit more professional. But my studio mate Kyle has not got to the studio yet today, and I wanted to try to fit in this commentary before he got in. So I thought, you know what, let's wing it, see what happens. You guys know me now. That's how I draw. That's how I write. And that's how I'm going to do my videos. We're going to just have some fun when the mood hits me. So thank you guys for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. Check my kids. My kids love YouTube, right? And so they always hear everybody say, my youngest says, slap that bell. Hey, slap that bell. Down there I don't even know what that means. He's 5. He knows what that means more than I do. Check out some of my other videos. Run over to SkottieYoung.com for prints and books where you can get all the I Hate Fairyland collections there. Middle West, Bully Wars. I've got prints. I've got stickers. We've got original art. We've got daily sketches. A lot of cool stuff. And we got a lot of cool stuff planned coming up. So run over there and grab some stuff and see you guys next time.